One morning, you notice a few extra hairs on your pillow.
What's this? I think I need to do something about this.
Then your forehead begins looking slightly larger in every photograph. Slowly, the hair above your temples retreats. A thin patch also appears on the crown of your head. But strangely, the hair around your ears and neck remains strong. Why does baldness target only certain areas? Is it caused by age stress, testosterone, or the genes you inherited? And why do some people keep thick hair throughout their lives? The answer is hidden inside the tiny follicles beneath your scalp. They're your genes, and a powerful hormone quietly determine each hair's future. Your hair is not simply falling out. It is gradually shrinking. First, we need to understand how hair normally grows. Every strand begins inside a tiny pocket called a follicle. This follicle acts like a miniature factory beneath your skin. It produces a strand that grows for several years. Then the follicle briefly slows down. It rests before releasing the old strand. A new hair usually grows from the same follicle. This cycle repeats throughout your life. Therefore, losing some hair every day is normal. You rarely notice, because new strands grow simultaneously. Baldness begins when this balanced cycle changes. The growth phase becomes shorter with every cycle. Each replacement hair emerges thinner and shorter. Dermatologists call this follicular miniaturization. The follicle remains, but its factory keeps shrinking. Thick hair gradually becomes soft, nearly invisible fuzz. Eventually, the scalp begins looking bare. Yet many follicles may still be hidden underneath. The commonest cause is called androgenetic alopecia. Most people know it as pattern hair loss. It affects both men and women. In men, the hairline often retreats first. The temples move backward, forming a familiar M shape. A thin patch may also appear on the crown. These two areas can expand toward each other. Women usually experience a different pattern. Their central part widens as the top becomes thinner. The front hairline often remains visible. Complete baldness is also much less common among women. Behind these patterns is dihydrotestosterone, commonly called DAT. Your body creates DAT from testosterone using an enzyme. Both men and women naturally produce these hormones. DAT is not automatically harmful. It performs important roles during development and puberty. The problem is how certain follicles respond. Some people inherit follicles that are highly DAT sensitive. DAT alters the growth cycle of these susceptible follicles.
This healthy hair follicle is surrounded by DHT particles.
They become smaller after many repeated cycles. This happens slowly. Significant density may disappear before you notice. Here is the strange part. DAT encourages beard growth, while weakening susceptible scalp hair. The same hormone produces opposite effects in different places. That happens because follicles are not identical factories. Each region has different instructions and hormone sensitivity. Follicles near the temples and crown are often sensitive. Those around the sides and back are usually resistant. This creates the familiar horseshoe around a bald scalp. It also explains where transplanted hair usually comes from. Surgeons move resistant follicles from the back. These follicles often remain resistant in their new location. However, DAT is only part of the story. Genetics help determine how your follicles respond. Baldness is not controlled by one simple gene. Many genetic variations influence its timing and severity. You may hear that baldness comes from your mother's father. That popular rule is misleading. One important related gene sits on the X chromosome, but many other genes come from both parents. Either side of your family can provide clues. Even brothers inherit different combinations of those genes. One may start balding at 25. Another may keep dense hair for decades. Age also changes the hair cycle. Older follicles often become less productive. Individual strands may also grow finer. However, pattern hair loss can begin surprisingly early. Some people notice changes during their late teens. Others retain thick hair into old age. Does high testosterone guarantee baldness? No. Normal hormone levels can still accompany severe baldness. Follicle sensitivity matters more than testosterone alone. Imagine DAT as a key and follicles as locks. Some locks react strongly, while others barely respond. Stress is another commonly blamed suspect. It can trigger shedding without creating hereditary patterns. Illness,
Healthy
surgery,
follicles grow normally
childbirth,
in the
or
scalp
emotional
cutaway,
strain may
while
interrupt
4
growth.
trigger symbols are positioned above.
Many follicles can enter their resting phase together. Several months later, numerous strands suddenly fall. This shedding is often temporary after the trigger passes. Pattern baldness usually progresses gradually for years. Round bald patches suggest a different condition. Alopecia areata involves the immune system attacking follicles. Tight hairstyles can cause traction alopecia. Repeated pulling may permanently damage stressed follicles. Thyroid problems, nutritional deficiencies, medications, and scalp diseases also matter. Not every thinning scalp has genetic baldness. Sudden loss pain, redness, or scarring needs medical evaluation. What about hats? Ordinary hats do not suffocate follicles or cause genetic baldness. Follicles receive oxygen from blood beneath your skin. They do not breathe through the air. Frequent shampooing is not usually responsible either. Washing releases hairs that already completed their cycle. They simply become more noticeable inside the shower. Products may damage strands, but breakage differs from baldness. Shaving cannot change a follicle's genetic instructions. Regrowth only feels thicker because its tip is blunt. Can vitamins rescue a receding hairline? Only when a real nutritional deficiency causes the loss. Supplements cannot automatically rewrite genes or block DAT. Excessive nutrients may even worsen hair loss. Miracle products should therefore be viewed cautiously. Pattern baldness has no overnight cure. However, evidence-based treatments can help some people. Minoxidil can extend growth and strengthen some strands. Results vary between individuals. Continued use is generally needed to maintain improvement. Finasteride reduces the body's production of DAT. Doctors mainly prescribe it for male pattern hair loss. It can cause side effects and is not suitable for everyone. Other medicines may help certain women under professional guidance.
Welcome to Dermatology
No single
Clinic A.
treatment
Let's find
works
the best
for
plan
everyone.
each of you.
Topical care?
Supervised prescription treatment. And for you, transplant consultation.
Starting early can help protect active follicles. Long miniaturized follicles are harder to restore. Hair transplantation uses another strategy. It moves resistant follicles into thinning regions. The procedure redistributes hair rather than creating new follicles. Therefore, the available donor supply is limited. Some people choose shorter hairstyles, hair systems, or no treatment. Baldness itself is not physically dangerous. Yet its emotional effect can be real. Hair can influence identity, confidence, and perceived age. Losing it may feel like losing control, but baldness does not indicate weakness or poor hygiene. Nor does thick hair prove better health. It mostly reveals how follicles respond to biology and time. Scientists still do not understand every detail. Female pattern loss involves more than a simple DAT explanation. Baldness also has no confirmed evolutionary purpose. Evolution does not remove every inconvenient human trait. Sometimes biology has no elegant plan. It simply carries old instructions forward. Your scalp is not suddenly abandoning its hair. Thousands of follicles are slowly responding to inherited signals. Their growth phases shorten, and their strands become finer.
Hair shaft, sebaceous gland, hair follicle, hair root.
Baldness is a quiet conversation between genes, hormones, follicles, and time.